All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Today, Philadelphia Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie did what many people in the city of brotherly love wanted him to do, which was to give head coach Doug Pederson his walking papers. Lurie made the decision to fire Pederson following the Eagles' 4-11-1 season. And the low light of the Eagles season came in the second half of their regular season finale versus the Washington football team when Pederson made the decision in the second half to bench starting quarterback Jalen Hurts in favor of Nate Sudfeld. Now, the move was questioned by Eagles players, former players, media, and fans alike, as everybody flat out was baffled. And I don't care what anybody says. This was a move that had to be made. Like I said before, there was no way that Pederson could come back because the way that he had veteran players on the sideline during the game reacting to him after this move, he lost the locker room. There was no way that he could come back after this, and that was it. So if you're Jeffrey Lurie, you can't fire the players. You have to let go of the head coach. And I mean, again, if you look back at that game with Philadelphia and Washington, they were right in the mix. They were only down 3 points. Jalen Hurts gave you a better opportunity to win that game in favor of Nate Sudfeld. And then on top of that, the excuses that we heard from Pederson following the game for giving Nate Sudfeld a look, it was just baffling. Talking about, well, you know, Nate deserved the opportunity. I mean, you've only had the guy on your roster for 4 years, and he hasn't been able to get into the starting lineup. Now, all of a sudden, after you went to Hurts a few weeks ago, after you benched Carson Wentz, now you want to do this. It had to be done. So, you know, Jeffrey Lurie has to go back and, really sit back and reevaluate this team, because the Eagles, and of course with Howie Roseman in that front office, they need to get back to doing what they've been doing for more than 2 decades. And that is, building this team through the draft. The Eagles really got away from that. We're not seeing the solid foundation that was built. Of course, they were a veteran team that won the Super Bowl a few years ago under Pederson. They also had a good mix of youngsters on that team, but they've gotten away from that. And that's part of the reason why they finished this season so bad right now. Now, of course, the relationship between Pederson and Carson Wentz, according to a lot of reports, right now is fractured beyond repair. It's easier to walk away from Pederson than it is from Carson Wentz when you look at the contract that Carson Wentz has. So, I mean, obviously this had to be done. Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Eagles in 2021? Will it be Carson Wentz? Will it be Jalen Hurts? We don't know right now. But again, this move had to be made. You look at it and you say, what's next for Pederson? I mean, this guy was 37-1 in the regular season as the Eagles head coach. He got Philadelphia to the postseason 3 times in his 5 years there. And of course, the highlight of that, he helped the Eagles win the Super Bowl at the conclusion of the 2017 NFL season. No matter what, you can't take that away from him. It's just unfortunate that right now people are going to remember Pederson for what just went down, as opposed to being the first head coach to lead the Eagles to a championship. But make no mistake about it, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Carson Wentz has not been the same quarterback since Frank Reich left. And of course, Frank Reich was an offensive assistant for the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl in 2017. Of course, Carson Wentz got hurt coming down the stretch, and then, it was Nick Foles who came off the bench to help Philly win that championship. But Carson Wentz has not been the same ever since then. So, if the Eagles are going to keep Carson Wentz, they've got to go out there and find a guy who's going to get Carson Wentz back to the level that he was in 2017. You could see the confidence isn't there, and as the season progressed, he was just simply pressing. In regards to Pederson, people are going to say, well, after what happened last week, he should never coach in the NFL again. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think right now, what will be the best scenario for Doug Pederson is, to go back to Kansas City. He was an assistant with Andy Reid for many years before he became a head coach. He played under Andy Reid for many years as well. And, just go back and, to sit back and say, how can we right the wrongs that I had as a head coach and look to, possibly get that next opportunity. So I think the door is not closed on Doug Pederson in the NFL. I definitely think that he's going to bounce on his feet someplace, maybe not this year, but maybe in 2022. And in regards for the Eagles, they've got to go back and they've got to reevaluate everything because they really need to start back over in the draft, get things back on track. Obviously, right now, they've got to go out there and find themselves a head coach. But on top of that, they've got to get back to what made the Eagles the Eagles. The Eagles are typically a tough team. Regardless of who the coach is, regardless of what era that you're talking about, the Eagles are typically a tough team. There was not a lot of toughness on this Philly team this past season, and we saw that. There was no cohesion at quarterback. So, you got to go out there, obviously get a head coach. You've got to go back out there and focus on the draft. And, you're not that far away theoretically when you think about it when you're the Eagles because, look, 7 wins won the NFC East this season. It's not a very good division. I know that teams are looking to improve from this division going into 2021, obviously. But the thing is like if you can come in there and get the right coach and can figure out the quarterback position and, get things going with the draft with the help of Howie Roseman, you could be right back in business, right back contending for this division title. So you definitely have that to work on. You're going to be picking early in the NFL draft. The Eagles are going to be picking 6th overall. They're going to have the 6th pick in each of the 7 rounds that will, go on with the NFL draft come April. But these are things that you have to build upon. So we're going to see what the Eagles are going to do, how they're going to respond. But definitely this was a step in the right direction. And honestly, credit to Jeffrey Lurie because this happened 8 days ago. Okay, with Doug Pederson. Jeffrey Lurie took the time to sit down, have multiple meetings with Pederson, and really evaluate the situation. It was not a gut move. He sat back, thought about it, really collected his thoughts, because that's generally when you make the best decisions. And the best decision, like Jeffrey Lurie said, in the concern for the Philadelphia Eagles was to move on from Doug Pederson. When the dust settles on this, Doug Pederson will be remembered for being the first head coach to get the Philadelphia Eagles a Super Bowl championship. But as of right now, there is still a very bitter taste in the mouths of plenty of people that follow the Philadelphia Eagles and their fan base as far as how the season ended. So, cooler heads will prevail in Philadelphia. This is the first step to getting them back on track, but definitely for the Birds, they still have plenty of work ahead of them heading into the 2021 NFL season. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to thank all of the subscribers out there. And if you have not, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you are on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.